Time for our next topic, which is the freedom topic. What are the 10 freest places, best places to start a business in the country? Let's look at these. And here's what this is from LendingTree. This is a LendingTree article, oddly enough, which is pretty interesting. And so here's the things that they looked at. They looked at how high taxes are in this area of this city and state. What are housing costs like? Is it super expensive? Is the cost of living high? And then do the government policies that are in place there, do they make it hard for you to start a business? Like you have to go through all this red tape, or do they make it easy? So drum roll, please, John. Here we go. Here's our top 10. All right. Number 1.
Wow.
Raleigh, North Carolina, apparently number 1. Number 2, Austin, Texas. Number 3, Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 4, Durham, North Carolina. We got 3 out of the top 4 are from North Carolina, according to LendingTree's article. Boise, Idaho. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Portland, Oregon. All right, I'm going to be honest. I am shocked about the Portland, Oregon one. I don't know that I agree with that one. I've been there a couple times the last 2 months. It didn't seem like it was super easy, but okay. Salt Lake City, Utah, and Provo, Utah, right up there at the top. Nashville, Tennessee. St. Louis, Missouri. So there we go. There's our top 10. Let's look at that. So Texas, we know there's no state income tax, so that's helpful. We know taxes are pretty reasonable in North Carolina. Idaho, it's easy. You know how much it costs to set up a business entity in California?
I think it's a minimum of $800.
It is. It's like $800 plus a few just to get the little registration done. In the state of Utah, I think we're $75 to get a business entity. So you can spend $75 to get set up in Utah, and then even if you're in California, you're like, I'm going to set my business entity up in Utah, the state of California will still get you. They'll find out, and they'll still charge you that $800 or $1,000. And then they have these bonus taxes in addition to the regular taxes. I remember PBD, one of our mentors, talking about he was in this certain city in somewhere in Southern California, and they're like, oh, we have a bonus tax for the county that wasn't state income tax. So like this extra tax that no one else taxes businesses, and it was going to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's when he's like, all right, we're moving out of California. We're moving out of this place. So that was a top 10. What do you think are some of the, what makes these places great? And again, it's tough to know. They're all somewhat different, but what do you think they're doing to make it easier for businesses?
I know with North Carolina, what's interesting, we just had 2 of our, Casey, who I know is watching this, 2 of our team members actually moved to North Carolina, and I was pretty surprised by how affordable real estate is out there. Affordable. So I think that's a huge part of it for North Carolina. And North Carolina has a very, very, very strong financial presence. Like Bank of America is headquartered right there. Their fintech is absolutely booming. So I think there's, just by being in business out there, you have a lot of local opportunities to gain access to capital. It's not super overpopulated yet, so there's still a lot of opportunities there. North Carolina doesn't surprise me at all. Austin, Texas, I definitely thought Texas would be on the list. Austin does surprise me a little bit. There are a lot of government handcuffs there. I thought that'd be more of a, Dallas area. I don't know.
I agree. Austin, definitely has a harder, heavier-handed government. I know they were shut down a lot during the last 3 years, so a little surprising there. But I know it is part of Texas. And a lot of people have really flocked there, and the population has increased significantly. Boise, Salt Lake City, Utah, Idaho, not a big surprise. So, I guess the one big common denominator out of all these cities is the states that they're in and the cities they're in are pretty pro-business. They make it easy for the business to get off the ground. They keep taxes within reason, and they don't add a lot of red tape. So not surprising. Again, I think the biggest surprise there, Portland, Oregon. That one does seem surprising to me, but hey, LendingTree's making this decision, so we'll see. All right, so here's their top 10 worst places to start a business. Number 1, Bakersfield, California. Number 2, Stockton, California. Fresno, California. This is weird. This is all these, I can't imagine them being worse than like Los Angeles and San Francisco, but maybe I'm wrong. Toledo, Ohio. Riverside, California. I had a branch once in Riverside, California in 2015. It wasn't too bad. New Haven, Connecticut. Honolulu, Hawaii, not surprised. Dayton, Ohio. Scranton, Pennsylvania. So for all you that watch The Office out there and Michael Scott, it was tough for them to keep his paper business going all those years. I know our President Joe is from Scranton, Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. Born and raised there, and then, of course, went to Delaware. Wichita, Kansas, number 10. So there we are. There are the top 10 worst places to start a business in 2023. Let's talk about what is it that makes it easier, like just thinking to get off the ground. So you start your business, you got to set up a bank account, you got to get registered with the state. One of the tricky ones you don't always realize is you have to actually get your business license from the city. I'm wondering if maybe if we've renewed our business license. I might have to check on that.
Send in the fire marshal. What else? That's a huge problem in California. Like, it's not just the cost, the license. It's like literally the way that they send in the fire marshal, and they just nitpick every little.
And they take forever.
Exactly. Like, you could be all ready to roll, and it can be 2-3 months before you can even open doors, and that can be tricky in the early phase of business. But I look at this list, and there's two things that come to mind when you look at the bottom 10. Number one is the government making it so hard to actually open your doors, which I see that for all of the California ones.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of California, I see the biggest issue is hiring. Like, some of these locations,
really good
I think would be very tricky to hire in Scranton. I think it'd be tricky to hire in Wichita. Like that.
That's a huge point. Where are talented people residing who would be great staff for your business? One of the blessings we've got to being here in Utah County. In Utah here is we've got several universities with and a lot of technology companies, and population is growing, and so we've got an amazing workforce here to be able to select and find great people, and we have amazing people here on our team, and that's not always the case. Some of these other locations, that's not going to be the case, and a lot of those locations in California, other people are leaving, and the cost of living is a big part, right? Yeah. So if you want to attract a lot of young talent and you're like, well, good hell, I can't afford that $800,000 house that's 1,000 square feet down the street in California. I'm going to move to Utah, or I'm going to move to Colorado, or I'm going to move to Idaho, or even Arizona, where the cost of living is not so incredibly high and expensive. So that's a big part. So if you're starting a business and you want to start a business where there's a lot of high talent and you can attract great people to work at your organization, you have to think about that. Is where you're living a place where talented individuals want to live? And at the end of the day, too, I think you have to say, you're going to probably lean towards hiring younger people because they're going to be, a little bit more energetic, driven, ready to roll, depending on the position, especially entry-level positions and sales positions. And if there's, not a lot of young people in your area and there's not a lot of attractive things and the cost of living is exorbitant and the taxes are high, I mean, that's going to be a problem. So you've got to think about, starting your business somewhere where you can have great talent, affordable cost of living, the taxes are reasonable, and there's not so much red tape that you're wasting months and months to get the business off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the talent piece is huge, and I was looking at a lot of those names on the top 10, and a lot of them do have pretty good prominent universities right there, very, very close by. And you look at some, Brigham Young University, University of Utah, and shockingly enough, call centers absolutely thrive right there. So location is very, very important based on your business, which also goes the other way. Like, if you're an e-commerce business, you do no business in the state that you're living in, everything is online. You don't have to have your business in that state. Talk to a good tax professional, talk to a good attorney. Just because you live in California doesn't mean your business has to be in California.
No question.